Boyd, can you hear us?
He muted my phone, but
Boyd, can you hear us? Boyd? Boyd,
Did he mute his phone?
you're not muted, are you, Boyd? Okay, we tried, Boyd. I was talking to you and you weren't answering, so.
yeah, I couldn't hear you. I could hear you right up until you said that.
Okay, and then I muted you. So if it's all right with you, we're going up with the backup plan and we'll just leave you on the speakerphone.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so you might want to mute your side until you want to talk.
This microphone. Let's see.
We'll leave all this as is, right?
Are you good, Boyd?
Yeah, for some reason it's not letting me mute, but I'll try to be quiet. So
It should, okay. Should be just your phone.
there's a caution arrow by it, but
Okay, well, we'll leave you on speakerphone until you start getting too loud.
thank you.
Okay. I call this meeting to order. This is Farr City Council meeting, 7 p.m. Thursday, June 15th. We're all here. Josh is excused and Boyd is online or on speakerphone. So we'll do our best to try to keep this communication going. So we're going to start off with the opening ceremony. Janelle, will you lead us in a pledge? And Dave, will you pray for us?
Repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father in heaven, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to gather this evening to address the business of Far West City. We ask you to bless those that are not with us, that they will be able to be mended and cared for and return back as soon as possible. We're grateful for this community that we live in and the willingness of the community to serve and to be part of and help drive things forward here in our city. We ask you to bless as we go about the business of the city, that we'll be able to be fair and move forward the items and the issues of the city. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. Thank you, David. Okay, first thing is comments and reports. And the first thing in that is public comments. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to comment and share their feelings with us? No one? Okay, missed your opportunity. Report from Planning Commission. Lyle? I can bring you a mic if you'd rather. Okay. Good to see you, Lyle.
See you tomorrow will be the day for me on this, hopefully. Okay, we met last Thursday, June 28th. We had a work meeting at 6 p.m. We revised, where we discussed the animal ordinance, specifically roosters and that sort. And then we also discussed the A1 conditional uses. We're still working with Liam on that. We're going to discuss the M1, but the individual was going to work on it and report, had family issues, and so we kind of scrapped that, but we was able to get through everything. We had the report from the city council by Janelle. And then we held a public hearing to consider the request of a conditional use permit for John Harris on Pelican Drive, and also for Jared Boyer and David Feldstead in that warehouse property north of the Maverick, and both of those items are on your agenda today. And then we also just approved the minutes and reported on assignments and adjourned.
Okay, any questions for Lyle? Thank you, Lyle. Appreciate you. Okay, approval of minutes dated June 1st, 2023.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of June 1st.
Second.
Okay, Katie and David are motion and second. All in favor, say aye. I didn't hear enough to even ask for opposed. Did we hear from Boyd? Did you say aye, Boyd? Okay, thank you. Okay, consider approval of bills dated June 8th, 2023.
Motion that we pay the bills.
A second.
Okay, Janelle and Katie are motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Thank you, Boyd. This is when we should do roll call when he's on the phone, so we know we got him. Okay, those both passed unanimously. In the business items, I'd like to move item, what is that, L, the very last one, up to the very first thing, if that's all right with everyone, because the Fremont FFA would like to present to us. So come on up. Decided maybe not make them wait all the way past and through budget
Thank you so
discussion.
much. Council, thank you so much for having us. My name is Cassie Joyner. I am one of the Fremont FFA advisors over at Fremont High School. I've got a couple of our FFA officers here and a 4-H junior livestock ambassador, some of our awesome kids. We're here on behalf of the Weber Junior Livestock Association. It's a new entity just formed at the request of the county commissioners to continue on with the junior livestock show and auction at the Weber County Fair. I'm going to turn the time over to these guys for a minute just so they can introduce themselves and explain a little bit about what they do with the program and how it has impacted them.
Hi, I'm Peyton Knight. I will be a senior next year. I've been showing for about 7 years now, and all the money that I've accumulated over the years goes straight into a college fund that I will be opening up next year. It's kind of scary, but it's exciting. Being an FFA, I've been able to explore a lot of different career opportunities to go into. So, yeah.
What animals do you raise? What animals do you show?
I show lambs.
All right, I'm Riley Kiesel. This is going to be my 5th year showing. It's a really great experience. I show pigs and goats. So I've learned so much responsibility through this program, and all the work ethic I've had to put in, and it's just been a really great thing. So.
Hi, I'm Garrison. I'm going to be the historian this year for Fremont FFA. I've been showing lambs and hogs since I was 8 through 4-H and now FFA, and it has taught me a lot about work ethic and working towards something you love, and also about leadership, and it's been really great for me. And like she said, I'm putting it all towards a college fund so that I can go into engineering one day.
Thanks.
So these guys are just a little taste of, I like to say that the cream of the crop. They're really awesome. And you can see we've got quite a few kids in the county who are involved in this program. So it's definitely something that we want to keep alive and keep going. Sometimes I get funny looks when I tell people that I'm an ag teacher, because a lot of people are like, is ag still a thing? Are farmers still around? And I can tell you that agriculture is alive and well in Weber County. Fremont FFA, along with Weber FFA, we have 2 of the largest chapters in the state. Roy FFA Bonneville, our 4-H program is great. So we're all constantly hiring new ag teachers, and it's growing for sure. It's getting harder and harder for kids to be involved in production agriculture. Not a lot of us come from the family farm anymore, right? So it's our job as advisors and 4-H volunteers to make sure that these kids still have an opportunity to immerse themselves in agriculture. You guys mentioned the planning with, city codes, like keep these kids in mind as you guys are doing that. We want these kids to be able to raise these animals and continue this great program. I grew up in Plain City and was involved in 4-H and FFA, and it's definitely made me who I am today, so much so that I chose a career in it. So like I said, we're here on behalf of the WJLA. We approached the county commission. This is kind of our first year taking over separate from the county as far as like funding and financing goes. We asked the county commissioners to donate to kind of help us get started. They are willing to donate $10,000 and they will match that as long as cities will donate as well. So we are kind of here going around to city councils asking for hopefully at least $1,000 donation to go towards that. If we can get 10 cities on board, we're covered. Plain City with, John Beasley, he's already committed. He's part of that board. Craig Jensen's our president. We've got a group of about 12 volunteers. They volunteer their time to run this, and we've started this new entity. So we're very excited about it. We want these kids to be involved. You can see the auction payout. These are kind of some numbers from last year on that flyer there. A lot of money goes through our auction. A lot of businesses come out and support, and we're so grateful for that. if they wanted to go buy some hamburger for their company party, they could easily go to the grocery store and get it a lot cheaper, but they're not here to do that. They're here to, they invest in these kids. So I guess we're asking city councils to also invest in these kids. We have a lot of some of our greatest FFA members and 4-H kids come from Far West and within city limits. So we're grateful for all you guys have done to support these kids, and we want to see this program to keep going. So what questions can we answer for you guys?
You guys got any questions?
Well, go ahead. Well, I know, so first of all, kudos to all of you, because my kids have raised goats and lambs.
Oh, cool.
And we just do it in our backyard, but
That's how they.
there is
mostly
nothing
are.
better than being in the barn in the mornings when no one is at the fair and all these kids are there taking care of their animals.
Yep.
It's just like,
They're the
It's
best
really
of the
awesome.
best. They
Yes.
really are.
so great to you guys for keeping it going. I did have a question because I saw that they changed to an association. So this was previously funded by the county?
So I'm really not the person to
I
ask.
just, yeah, I was just like,
Yeah, so they, a lot of the
figure out why they
funding went
separated
through the county. You know, they would let us use the facility for free, things like that. I know there was some sort of audit with the county and they kind of said, hey, we don't want all this money, you know, because I mean, this is a big chunk of money just from the auction going through their accounts. So they asked us to become kind of our own entity. So now we have our own board, our own accounts, our own, you know, nonprofit. So
but you'll just like, the auction will operate through you guys now instead of the
so
county.
now we're having to like rent the Golden Spike rather than just being able to use it for free.
Okay.
Buy a lot of the awards and get sponsors and do a lot of things that the county, like Ashton already was providing for us. So we have a little bit of funds already, but probably not enough to even run, you know, a show for the next couple of years. So that's why we approached the county and said, can we, you know, have a little bit of a startup fund? And they said, we'll invest in you if local cities are willing to invest in you too. So, but I mean, if the investing in these kids is what it's all about, right? I tell kids all the time, like someday you may be sitting in these seats, you know, leading the community. So we're hoping you guys see the value in it as well.
I definitely see the value. I'm an alumni of Fremont FFA and the Weber County 4-H program. I attended Utah State on a 4-H scholarship. So it is I buy in 100% to the program and what it does for kids. And I appreciate I appreciate the work that not only you do with your animals, but in the community as well, because it's not just siloed in raising animals. And I think my question would be so you kind of alluded to, but the $1,000 donation from the city and the 10,000 from the county would go to cover just, you know, operational.
Yeah, cost to, you know, hire a judge. Like I said, we'll have to rent out the Golden Spike Arena now, which will be a large chunk of our cost. Yeah, all the awards, payouts, the premiums these kids get. You know, so the years we have to buy new hog panels. We're trying to, you know, fit as many animals as we can in those barns. We want more kids to be involved. So sometimes it's, you know, buying more equipment. A lot of it goes to, we have like a live stream so people, you know, businesses can watch the show. Just, you know, equipment, things like that.
That line item isn't in the county fair budget anymore. They just cut it out.
You'd have to ask Ashton Wilson. There's a few things that they're kind of like, from what I understand, they're kind of weaning us off of them a little bit.
Okay.
So there's a few things this year that they're covering. But over time, within the next 5 years, like the rent will go up for the arena, things like that. So
That's a big
yeah,
cost.
it's been a big undertaking, but we're lucky to have some awesome like parents and like I said, volunteers, like these people, the Douglases, Terry and Scott Douglas, like they volunteer so many hours to do this because their kids went through the program and they see the value of it. So yeah, it's a big undertaking.
Well, I'm lucky to have teachers like you that on your summer break will come and do this.
Thank you.
Is this a nonprofit that like just?
Yeah, the
is it like-
WJLA will be a nonprofit. Yeah.
So like if I wanted to make a private donation, I could just
Yes. Yep.
go to your website and do
Yes.
that?
Yep.
Okay.
And obviously, we don't want businesses to donate to the WGLA that would otherwise give that money to a kid at the auction. So it's kind of a fine balance of, we still want you to buy an animal, but we're also trying to get started so that this program doesn't, you know, die out. Because there's a lot of kids that want to do it, so.
And a great way to fill your freezer.
Yes, yep, and a tax
Stuff.
write-off. So I don't know if that's something you guys would vote on tonight or later on, but if you decide that's something that you'd want to do to support, like, we can get you a contact and send you an invoice, however that works.
Yeah, well, it's actually on the agenda to do action.
Okay.
So I'm ready to hear from the council. Any proposed actions?
Mayor,
Yes,
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
we can hear you, Boyd.
I've been a longtime supporter of this, individually and professionally, and I'd like to make a motion that we find the funding to support this action.
Okay, we have a motion from Boyd. Do I have a second from anyone else?
Not because I don't want a second, I'm just like, is this fall into the same category as
Right.
Children's Justice Center is, you know, I guess at what point do we, I don't know, like, do we give to every great cause? I don't know.
Yes, we do.
I love it. Yes. Boyd says yes. I'll second.
Okay, Boyd and Janelle are the motion and the second. Let's do this roll call. Boyd,
Yes.
Janelle,
Aye.
Katie,
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Okay, well, that's unanimous. They wanted to make you nervous there just for a second.
Well, thank you so much for having us, and please contact me. We'll send you guys an invoice, and we appreciate the support. And thanks for letting these kids see this process. It's
Okay, thank you, and we'll see you at the fair probably.
yes, you will. Come to the fair. For sure.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hey, Boyd, did you change something on your audio? Suddenly you were coming from the heavens.
Yes, I actually got online from, I'm gonna log off on my phone now. I just want to make sure it worked, but I'm online with my computer.
It worked very well.
Okay,
It almost scared me.
all right, I'm logging off the other way, so.
Hey, be careful when you do it so you don't. Okay. The next business item, consider the request of a conditional use permit for a 4,000 square foot accessory building for John Harris located at 3188 North Pelican Drive. Is Mr. Harris here? Oh, sorry. Because I drew a line through this, I missed the going back up to A. My apologies. Business licenses, Gray Mountain Mechanical LLC, Mitchell Schum? Yeah, come on up. Explain to us what you're up to.
Just looking to start my own heating and air conditioning business. I've been doing it for a little over 13 years, and I'd like to start doing it for myself rather than working for someone else.
Boyd,
Yeah, I'm waiting for Boyd.
we can't do without you here.
Okay. Am I unmuted?
Yep, you're there.
We can hear you
Okay.
very well.
One of the things that we are trying to be very, very careful with in the city is that we don't make a residential neighborhood look like a business. So tell us how that's going to look for you. We don't want to change anything because you're starting a business. We don't want to change the look that your neighbors will see. Does that mean you'll have multiple trucks parked there? Are you going to have deliveries there? Talk to us about that.
No, nothing at the residence will change. The truck will be parked at the house, but the truck will be the only thing that has anything like insignia on it. Just like anybody else who drives a company vehicle home, it'll just be parked in the driveway. Nothing at the residence will change.
And I want to just emphasize too that, that means, no increased traffic in the neighborhood, no deliveries, no, street parking, no signage. Any of that would kind of cue like a reconsideration of the license.
Sure, I understand.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the business license for Gray Mountain Mechanical.
A second?
Okay, Dave and Katie, your motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, thank you. You've got it.
Awesome.
Thank you
so much.
Okay, next is Mark A. Johnson Construction of Utah. Do we have a representative from Mark A. Johnson Construction?
I make a motion we table the business license approval for Mark A. Johnson Construction of Utah.
Second.
Okay, Katie and Dave, motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. RKDL Productions LLC, Joshua Rocha? Did I pronounce it correctly?
most people say broken, so thank you.
Nice. So, yeah. Explain, and I think you already have a feel for the kind of questions you might get.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've already got a warehouse in the Northview Business Plaza.
Okay, well, that's a little different. It's not a house.
February. It is. We're very excited. So technically we're an automotive dealership, but we specialize in what I'd call future classics or unique niche vehicles. So you won't find high volume stuff. We're very low volume, very specific about what we purchase and what we sell. And hence the reason for productions in the name, we're just as much of a media as we are automotive. A lot of our stuff is obviously going to be advertised online. So video, photography, all the online content's going to be really important for us. So we're very excited.
Okay, are there questions of the applicant?
I have.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead, Katie.
So this, the property that you're going to be operating out of is zone C2, and in C2, auto sales is a conditional use. Do we have an approved conditional use for this property?
Because I think back then it wasn't this, so I know we've had cases back.
Any,
We haven't seen this, no.
because I would feel more comfortable approving this business license, knowing that we did have that conditional use, knowing kind of the past history of.
I don't believe it was then. Not that. But no, I don't.
That doesn't supersede the new code, right? They're not like.
Correct.
Yeah.
We could probably put it on the agenda this Thursday. Time, so I can look to.
Okay, I will entertain a motion on this.
I make a motion that we table the business license application for RKDO Productions based on the approval of a conditional use permit.
Okay, does that make sense to you? We're gonna have,
A little bit, but it'd be good to have a little bit more detail on the conditional use. Sorry,
Okay.
not up to code on the zoning.
So the area that you're proposing operating out of is currently zone C2, which is our commercial zone. There's certain activities that are allowed in that commercial zone and certain activities that you have to come before the planning commission and the city council to have approval of, and they will put certain conditions on your use of that property. It goes with the parcel, the property.
Yeah.
It can be things like number of vehicles that you can have on site at a time. Limitations on, I mean, parking or access or things like that. And so when it's not one of those, when it's in that zoned area and it's not a permitted use, you have to come for the conditional use permit. Did I explain that okay?
because it's a little different than just a store.
That's fair. What would next steps look like for me then?
As Lyle was saying, they will probably get you on the next planning commission agenda. Yeah.
Okay. Conditional use application? It's online. Okay. Okay.
One thing you need to realize is one of the concerns we have in the city and one of the bigger problems we have are these type of businesses. And they say, we're going to do this, and then they expand beyond that and it becomes a wrecking yard or an eyesore for the city. So we're really cautious of this type of a business. So.
Yep, that makes sense. If it does help, I'm sure we can discuss this more after the conditional use permit. All of our vehicles will be in the warehouse. We're not actually displaying any out front. And of course, we will not have maybe what I'd call salvaged vehicles sitting around. These are very high-end vehicles, so.
Well, it sounds like you're well on your way to doing the right thing, so.
Appreciate it.
Let's come for the planning commission next Thursday, and you'll have to come back. Following Thursday.
Okay, that's right. Understood. Okay,
Okay,
thank you much.
we have not yet voted on this. Did you vote or motion to table? Did I get a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Okay, we're tabled for now.
Thank you.
We'll put you back on when we can. Thank you. Okay, speaking of conditional use permits, consider the request of the conditional use permit for a 4,000 square foot accessory building for John Harris, located at 3188 North Pelican. Is John Harris here? Is anyone concerned about John Harris being here for his 4,000 square foot accessory building?
I'm trying to remember.
There is some concern with this. Do I need to, do I need to,
Let's take you, I'll bring.
We need you on the recording, and Boyd needs
No.
to hear you.
What it is he initially was going to, he was set to build, his plan on building under the power lines or things like that. So he addressed that part about building under the power lines with this building. But there's also, he was going to get access through the back off of 2000 to access the property. And so he's going through that process right now with UDOT. He did get preliminary approval to access back there just simply so he can get the building material in and everything like that. But as far as I know, Lou, we're fine. He had all of his ducks in a row, didn't he?
This is an acre lot too.
Yeah, it is.
So everybody's aware. So this doesn't, it wouldn't be unusual for that size of a building on that size of a
No,
lot.
our biggest concern was he was going to create an access off of 2000 West, which UDOT does not allow. And
So
so,
the temporary approval UDOT has given is just. for-
yeah, but he's working with it. He's doing everything that we asked him to do.
The temporary access is just for construction.
Oh.
And then he was gonna meet with them about a permanent access.
Right. But
But it doesn't sound like he can just access it from the front if he
No.
doesn't get access.
right. And
So
well,
I think he's planning,
yeah, but I don't think that we had any qualms about pushing this through though, did we, Lou?
Well, the important thing is he understands the approval process with UDOT.
Mhm.
He's already communicating with them. And understands that they've got to give the green light on everything. Relative to the power line, you got permission to build on the power line. He said, if we ever have to do maintenance.
Yeah, they.
Oh, that's, I forgot about that.
It's actual buildings, it's not the power.
yeah, I didn't see anything on here that like,
Oh,
he's working with UDOT. That's up to him on where his access is. But as far as the building, it didn't look like
yeah.
it's got,
I just wanted to bring those two items up that we had some concerns about, but we're fine with the way it is right now.
Okay, sounds like potential conditions.
Yes.
Conditional use.
Yeah, I'd throw that on the conditions, true.
So conditions for access and conditions for the power lines?
Making
He's
sure
not-
that those are square before.
he's not building under the power line.
He
We
really
moved
does,
it.
we don't really need to make a condition of power.
Mm.
It's enter at your own risk.
Uh-huh.
He's opted not to risk. The condition for the access to 2000 West is, that's real. Right?
Yeah, that could be a condition.
Or the final.
Or if he has permanent access, he needs to get UDOT approval. I don't know how you'd word that or anything. I know.
Do we care though if he gets access to 2000 because he has access through his front of his property? So do we
Well,
care
there's
one way or the other?
there was a shed in the way. Yeah. And there was the previous owner put a shed right there where he could get back there and that's why he was. Yeah,
Right, he
said
still
he-
could.
right.
So
I just don't know if that's our realm of,
that's probably true.
oh, that's through UDOT. He's working with UDOT. I don't know. It has nothing to do with the building itself.
yeah,
I don't know.
that's the way I'm looking at it. So
Okay.
Yeah,
well, yes, at that point, they'd have to approve.
And I'm kind of hesitant, and I know this is outside of our purview, but like, I'm hesitant to, I don't know, we don't have anything we can do about this, but his access being off of 2000. But I don't-
Still build the building access.
And he could still build it and access it with UDOT's approval. I don't know that we could even stop that, Katie. So that's why I'm saying, I think this is something we could approve. And I don't
Actually,
even know if we
he
put a
can
condition.
actually access it from the front. It's just the shed's in the way a little bit. So he does get back and forth from his driveway to that. So I'm familiar with the property.
Because he's in the process with UDOT, he's not gonna put in his building until he knows if he has access. You know, the building will be designed based on if he can get access, so.
Like
he
which
was-
way the door faces?
Yeah, he was very aware of like the steps he needed to take.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna, I mean, you can't guarantee it, but he, like I say, I think the building's gonna be designed whether he has, based on whether he has access, but.
Okay, so what's in front of us is the conditional use permit for him to build a 4,000 square foot accessory building. Does anyone want to take action or make a motion?
I'd just like Boyd, since you're listening in on this, I mean, you know the property well. Any concerns that you have with what it would, yeah, really just any concerns?
I really don't. It's just open acreage back there, an acre, and I don't see, other than the power lines and the access, that's up to him. But as far as the building itself, it shouldn't cause any problems to anybody being that size. And
Okay, thank you.
like I said, it fits well on
He
an
talked
acre
to
lot.
Nate too, to make sure it didn't exceed the square footage for building on the property plus in addition. So I feel like he's just covered all his bases pretty clearly, but.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for the 4,000 square foot accessory building for John Harris located at 3188 North Pelican Drive.
Second.
Hey, Dave got you, Boyd. So Janelle and Dave are motion and second. Let's do this roll call. Boyd?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Janelle?
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you. Next one, another conditional, consider the request of a conditional use permit for warehousing and distribution in the M1 zone for Jaron Boyer and David Belstead, located approximately 2700 north, 1900 west, even though we know this is nowhere near 2700 north. It's actually way far north of that, but that's the closest address. It's basically the property that was rezoned to M1 that's far north up behind Maverick.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's clear up there that even our proposed road is going to access through. So that's the location of the property. Is there anyone here from Boyer or Felstead? That's unfortunate. We always like to ask questions. How does the council feel?
I mean, I'd like them to be here to answer questions.
So that we know what kind of warehousing and distribution they are proposing?
Yeah, and just to kind of talk through timeline and yeah.
I don't remember, Lyle, did he say last week what they wanted to do?
I asked him that specific question. He said it's just going to use flex space mostly.
I don't remember.
Yeah, pretty much.
It sounds like a cool word, but it worries me.
I know, worries me too. Yeah.
That's basically what we approved the rezoning for with flex space.
Yeah, that's true. So
If we're doing a conditional use and we have the opportunity to ask questions and learn more and put conditions on it, I think we should.
Is this a conditional use though?
What condition would you put on it? It's listed under conditional uses. That was our understanding what it was going to be used for when we rezoned it. So you're going to have him come back and ask him questions about what? That would have a bearing on a conditional use.
I agree with Lou. I think, we all wonder what it might be, but that's really more of a process that happens when a business application's made versus a conditional use in the zone. So I know we've done this for other properties that fit the same mold, and I think it just makes sense. And I don't have any questions specifically, so I would propose, unless there are specific questions, that we do move forward on this one.
Okay, is that in the form of a motion?
Well, I just want to make sure everyone, I want to make sure the other council members have an opportunity to, if there are any specific questions, then we should wait. If there aren't, then we should move forward.
That makes sense.
Let me ask this question of our planning commission members. Isn't this one of the reasons you guys are readdressing some of the conditional uses in M1 and commercial zones is so that it's very clear on what's allowed and what is conditional and what is not allowed?
Municipalities, they have a very nice table, and it has both the commercial and the manufacturing in 2 columns, and then has permitted and conditional, and then they get very specific about the kinds of things. So when you're talking about manufacturing, it isn't just manufacturing, or it isn't just light manufacturing. They start to specify what kind of manufacturing you're talking about. That's one of the things we're working on right now. So a person could come to that table, and we're not asking them endless questions about what do you mean by warehousing or what do you mean by manufacturing. We'll get specific, and hopefully the table will address most of those, and it will already have been determined whether it's permitted or conditioned. And it was motivated more by the C2 than the M1.
Okay, but you guys are addressing
It makes sense since the M1 says
everything in the C2.
When the C2 applies to the M1, so you're right back to, C2. So why not do them all in one table? That was the thought.
Okay, so this is being at least addressed. Does that help at all? That this is being worked on?
So I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit for warehousing and distribution in the M1 zone at 27, well, I guess that address isn't accurate, but we all know it's that parcel way north of Maverick.
We have a picture of it somewhere. So I have a motion.
I'll second.
Katie's a second. We're gonna roll call this one. Boyd?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Janelle? Okay. And we have passed that one. Okay, so I have a question here before we get to the next one. Well, first of all, we're gonna be getting into some budget things here. And, been kind of talking about, and I was talking with Cody, but before I asked Cody to present what he has to present, I have a question for you, Liam.
Yes.
We have 3 public hearings. Do we have to go in and out of each of them, or can we say we're going into 3 public hearings?
Thank you. Each public hearing should be taken individually. So you should open a public hearing for each item listed and close that after you're finished with them.
Okay, I was afraid of that. That just seems kind of monotonous.
You're welcome.
I wanted to at least ask the question. So before we go into any public hearings, Cody, please come up and talk to us about budget. And that should spark some questions for the public hearing.
Okay. So I don't know if I'll drive unless you guys have specific questions. All this stuff should be in the packet and in Dropbox. So just really quick to go over the public hearing stuff, and I'll just kind of go over everything really fast. So if you have questions, as always, please interrupt me. So to begin with, it looks like our first public hearing is on adjustments for the 2022-2023 budget. So this is really just a cleanup of some items that either it looks like we're trending over budget, or I'm also proposing that we increase our transfer to the capital projects fund just so that we can stay within compliance with the state. With our fund
Just to help
balance.
us through this, is there
And
one
so-
of these that could be opened that we can share?
Sure. So if you want to open, I think it's called budget amendments fiscal year.
Okay.
So you can see I've got an increase in sales tax to offset some of these changes. And then there's 2 line items we're adjusting, plus then the contributions to the capital projects fund, basically the transfer. If you scroll to the next page, I believe there's 2 or 3 pages there. This is the offset to the transfer. There, and so those are all the first 2 pages. And then if you go to the 3rd page, if you remember, we had some mid-year adjustments in both our hauler and at the transfer station in our garbage and recycling. And so I'm increasing a couple line items there because last year we ended up having a bill come in late and we were slightly over budget. So we're trending a little high in that area. And so those are my proposed changes. So pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, Great. If not, I'll keep going. Okay, if you open the next document, Mayor, it's called Summary of Budgetary Changes. So this is the adjustments that I made to the budget that we talked about at like our budget workshop that we had, I think at the beginning of May. And so you can see we're required by state law to have our certified tax rate proceeds match the budget. So I just kind of guess and I try to overestimate slightly. So I guess 400,000, it ended up being 355. And so I adjusted those down. Some of these other line items, the Weber County Animal Control, if you remember, it's been higher. And so I increased that line item. Dave and Nate wanted a little more salt. They said within the project that we've done on 2000, that it was gonna cost like 15 or 20 grand to fill that with salt. And so they wanted a little extra money there. So we put a little extra there. And then the next one's just a cleanup for the sewer budget. And then the last two are just some stormwater offset changes that I made. I increased that a little bit because Robbie's still not sure what his projects are going to come in, just trying to make sure he had money for his projects. And then just a cleanup for that budget so that we balanced. So those are the only changes that we've made since we went through it line by line. I did check, you had a question about the salaries in the sewer fund. I checked that. That budget's been a little extra high. And so I just left it the same for the salaries and wages. We should be fine. Along with adopting the budget in the packet, Liam put together some changes of the consolidated fee schedule. And so that kind of goes, I know that's our other public hearing, but it goes hand in hand with the budget. So with that, if you remember, we're changing the garbage and recycling to cover some of the hauler costs. If you go, I think like one more page, Mayor, right here. And I can't remember who, I think it was Josh, but maybe it was Boyd. They liked having even amounts. So the $11 for the garbage can is a little less and the $7 for the recycling can's a little bit more, but it should provide what we need hopefully for those and to offset the collections. And then the only other fee change we had was with the sewer. And if you remember, we talked about this, like I think back in January or February, but we changed it. So the residential is going to stay the same this year, but we added some tiers based upon water usage for the sewer. And I believe we wanted some exclusions in there. And so Liam put that in there. So like multifamily dwelling units will just be based upon the ERUs. And then we talked about like agricultural livestock businesses, specifically like dairies, that their livestock was consuming the water rather than going into the sewer system. And I think we wanted that as an exclusion as well. And so this should provide for those new rates. And where this was a problem, if you remember, like McDonald's, I think we were charging 10 ERUs, but then like Taco Bell, we were charging 2 ERUs. And so this should really sure it up. So some people's bills will go up, some will go down, but overall it should be fair based upon what they're actually doing rather than some engineer's estimate of what their ERUs were. So that's the consolidated fee schedule changes. If you go, I think it's up and down. We have in here the wage scale. So those wages are in the budget. And that scale is what I based the budget upon. And that was prepared based upon the policies that we have. And then we also had some changes in the consolidated fee schedule in the city code associated with some of the statutory wages. And that's just the same things that we've done the last couple of years. If you remember, we're required by state law to give the judge the same increase that all the other employees get. And then we've done the same thing for my position. And so that should be most of the changes. Just by way of information, if you guys don't have any other questions, the property tax rate, which is also in there, it actually went up this year. So that would be indicative that home values are dropping, although it just changed by 0.000005. So if your home value didn't change, if you remember for tax year 2022, the average home value in Far West was $650,000 as provided by the county. If your home value didn't change, you'd pay $1.78 more a year in taxes, but more than likely everybody's home home value would drop just a little bit. But it's possible, like we saw last year, that there could be a reallocation between commercial and residential. So I think that is everything I have. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I think
Just stay
that's.
close, because now we get to hear from the
That's it.
public.
Okay.
And then we'll come back if we need to, but be prepared. Okay, so first public hearing to consider adjustments to the 2022-2023 budget.
I make a motion, we open the public hearing to consider adjustments to the 2022-2023 budget.
Second.
Okay, Katie and Dave, motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now in a public hearing to consider those adjustments. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to comment about that? Input, feedback, anyone? Anyone? No. I'll entertain a motion to leave this public hearing according to our rules.
Make a motion to close the public hearing for the adjustments to the 2022-23 budget.
Okay, David and Janelle are motion second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we are out of that public hearing. Next public hearing to consider approval of the final 2023-2024 budget.
I make a motion, we open the public hearing to consider approval of the final 2023-2024 budget.
Second.
Motion second, Katie and Dave. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now in the public hearing for considering the approval of the final budget. Anyone from the public like to comment on our budget? This is your public hearing. This is your time to speak up about how we're spending your tax dollars.
Make a motion that we close.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, Dave and Katie are getting us back out of here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are out of that public hearing. Next public hearing to consider amendments to the consolidated fee schedule.
I make a motion, we open a public hearing to consider amendments to the consolidated fee schedule.
Second.
Katie and Janelle are motion second. All in favor, say aye.
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 We are in a public hearing to consider the amendments to the consolidated fee schedule. Anybody have from the public any comments, questions about the consolidated fee schedule?
You know, we get to do this all over again when we go to approve stuff.
Yes, I do, but this is the public hearing part and we're doing it appropriately, right, Liam? We're doing it appropriately. Okay, nobody seems to want to speak
I
up.
make a motion to move out of the public. Make a motion to move out of the public hearing.
Okay, Boyd has started us back out of here.
Second.
And Katie has seconded us getting out of here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now out of the public hearing for the amendments to the fee schedule. Now, we're going to consider approval of the adjustments to the 2022-2023 budget. Okay, so council, do you have any questions of our treasurer?
I don't. I think we go through a lot of meetings, work sessions and discussions about this, and Cody did a great job informing us and enlightening us. So I think I personally feel like we're good to go.
Yeah, I appreciate, Cody, all your thoroughness and the work you've done to like keep us in the loop and explain everything to us. So, and the attention to detail. So thank you.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the adjustments to the 2022-2023 budget.
Second.
Okay, Dave and Katie are motion second. We're gonna do this roll call this time. Boyd.
Aye.
Janelle.
Aye.
Katie.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Okay, we just approved the adjustments to the budget. The next thing we're going to consider is approval of the certified tax rate. Would you like to repeat what our new certified tax rate is? Just
Sure. So it's 0.000354. Like I said, that's up 5 zeros and a 5 at the end. If you remember, we set an amount, so we're guaranteed the same amount we got last year plus any growth. So our growth, if you look at that PT 693 that's included in the packet, it's about $11,000 of growth. So last year we got 344,000. This year we'll get 355.
How does the growth amount compare to last year?
The like dollar amount?
Yeah, the like 11,000.
You know what? I don't know if I have that sitting right here. I can look it up and tell you. But, I think it was about the same.
Well, we haven't got that many new houses compared to other years.
No, and I think next year it's probably gonna really like drop off unless something changes here drastically.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the certified tax rate.
Second.
Okay, Katie and Dave are motion and second. I'm gonna do this roll call. Boyd?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Janelle? Okay, we have approved the certified tax rate at that awesome long digited one. So thank you. Next consideration is the approval of the final 2023 to 2024 budget.
Make a motion that we approve the final 2023-2024 budget.
A second.
Okay, John and Katie are motion and second. Do this roll call. Boyd?
Aye.
Janelle? Katie?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Okay, we have approved the final budget in all of its glory. Okay. The next one, consider approval of ordinance number 2023-5 amendments to the consolidated fee schedule.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2023-05, which is the amendment to the consolidated fee schedule.
A second.
Okay, David, Katie are motion and second. Boyd?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Katie? Janelle? Okay, we have approved the amendments or the ordinance for the amendments. Seems like we're approving more than we had public hearings for. Why does it feel that way? Okay, and here's a fun one. Consider approval of the fraud risk assessment from the Office of the State Auditor. Do you have something to present on that? Because you haven't presented on that yet.
Right, I haven't. So that's also in the packet. It hasn't changed much. Our score's the same. How, it's kind of weird, like the state auditor's office put this together years ago. Now the trust who we have our insurance through wants to use this. They were gonna use it this year and everybody kind of complained. So we are gonna make some changes here to our fraud risk assessment and our score should go up. Lindsay and I have been working on it and Liam's gonna do some work for us. So you'll see some changes to some new policies and procedures probably coming to city code that will help get our score up. Because what the trust is saying is unless our score meets the 355, or it's got to be 356 or more, so we're very low, they won't provide us with like employee dishonesty insurance and those things. And so we've got to get our score up. So we're working on that. So you'll see those changes here whenever Liam gets them ready. But for the time being, our score will be the 295, and then we just have to bring this forward to you every year so that you can see and kind of know where we're at.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was the separate duties between the clerk and the treasurer. Is that one of the things that you guys are kind of, the policies?
No, so we already have a lot of that, like the separation of duties. If you see, we get the 200 there. So anything that has a dash through it is where we don't have stuff. So there's a few of those that are pretty easy. I think if the mayor would scroll down just a tiny bit, or Lindsay, sorry. You can see some of that stuff at the bottom's worth 20 points. So like, does the entity have or promote a fraud hotline? So we're probably gonna have a fraud hotline added to the city website. So that we can promote that and so we can pick up a few of those more points. I think I've got in there that like an annual commitment to writing to abide by a statement of ethical behavior. So you might have to sign something each year. Anyways, a lot of it's stuff that's pretty easy, but it will get our score up.
Measures weren't specific to anything that we were doing, or they just like blanket?
Yes, so this is like a blanket, you assess yourself where you're at, and then you get a score based upon how many points you get. So we didn't get all the points, but we got 295 out of, I think, like 395. And so we'll try and pick up some more so that we'd get that insurance coverage for next year. So. Any other questions? So we just need you guys to review it and approve it, and then the mayor and I'll sign it and we'll submit it to the state auditor's office, and then we'll get Liam working on those new policies and see if there's anything we need to change, so.
Okay, you guys got any further questions, comments, discussion? Action, approval, consider approval.
I make a motion that we approve the fraud risk assessment from the Office of the State Auditor.
Okay,
A second.
Dave and Katie are motion and second. Roll call, Boyd,
Aye.
Janelle, Katie,
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Okay, we have approved fraud risk assessment. Okay. And I don't have to do that last one on there because we did it first for the FFA. So now we come to the funnest part of the thing and mayor council follow-up. I'm gonna let Boyd go first because he has a lot to tell us.
I have not been very actively involved the last few weeks. But I did attend via Zoom, the fire district board meeting on Tuesday night, and there's really not much to talk about, but the fire district is doing well and is still healthy. They do so many good things for the community. They're always willing to participate. So if there's anything in the 4th of July, the Freedom Festival that we want them to do or participate in, all we need to do is ask. And so just be mindful of that. They love to participate. They love to serve. So there's some ways they can do that other than being in the parade.
Or they might show up when we accidentally catch the canal on fire.
Exactly. Exactly right. So.
And maybe we could throw a couple of them in the dunk tank.
Oh, I like the dunk tank idea.
I know Paul was willing to last year.
That's about all that I have. And just thank you guys for letting me participate today. Thank you.
We are so happy that you are participating with us, Boyd. I'm sure everybody else feels exactly the same way. Okay,
Appreciate it.
what have you got?
I'm nothing today, Mayor.
Nothing? That's just a shame. I'm so sorry. No mosquitoes?
No,
Okay.
no, it's, I'm just getting over a cold, so I
Okay.
think the less I speak, the better
Okay,
today.
understood. Katie?
All right, Parks Committee, we met on Wednesday to review the responses that we got to the library land lease. We received one response from SWAT Soccer, and we have there's some more back and forth that needs to happen with that in regards to that. And so we've invited SWAT to come to our next Parks Committee meeting to see if what we can work out that's amenable to both of us, both parties.
You did confirm for the 28th.
Great. They had proposed four fields.
4 fields.
4 fields and a restroom facility and parking there and
Playground.
and a playground. So I put those that proposal in the Dropbox if you guys want to look at that. Liam, I'm gonna send their proposal to you to review just to see if there's anything that like stands out that we should kind of, keep our eye on. And then maybe should Liam attend that meeting on the 28th?
He certainly can. Would you like to, Liam? It's usually 8 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long is this meeting gonna go? I'll have to be out.
Usually about an hour, and I mean,
We
it's
can
just gonna
make
be
it-
kind of discussing their proposal and doing. Okay.
Okay. We can ensure that you're in and out. We'll keep it short.
And then I'll make sure you get a copy of the proposal before. Okay, sorry, just making notes for myself. Freedom Festival, the Fremont Communities That Care Coalition reached out to me this week and are wanting to do $1,000 sponsorship for Freedom Festival. So Lindsay provided them with an invoice and They just want to be able to put up some signage at the Freedom Festival. And so that is a nice little boost to our Freedom Festival budget.
Do they want to be in the parade?
I should ask them. I will ask them. I sent an email to the Planning Commission and to the City Council inviting them to ride on the float for the 4th of July parade, and then to help decorate the float the night before. We will do that. I can't remember what time I said. I think I said 6. Meet here at 6. That's after the car show gets over, to do decorations.
Come for the car show and stay for the decorating.
Come for the car show, stay for the balloons. Lots of fun. And so if they are, yep, and Lindsay ordered some stuff, some decorations for us for that. So we're well on our way there. I just need to follow up with Josh to see if he's got his hands on the straw for it.
Okay.
So,
I'm sure we can find somebody in the neighborhood that has straw.
and then dunk tank, we're going to be doing the dunk tank again this year.
Yes.
Raising money for the Mountain View Park playground replacement. I'm gonna start trying to get the word out about that and get your neighborhood excited about it and coming and supporting. And I connected with Darren Roylance this week about the breakfast. I had a soft yes from my son's hockey team, Junior Mustangs, to take that over. So you may be doing breakfast on the 4th of July. As doing it as a fundraiser for the hockey organization. And so I had gotten with Darren to get some details and sent them along to the coach and the organizer at the Junior Mustangs. So still fingers crossed, but so, and I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Janelle.
I attended the Planning Commission work session meeting last week. And on the dunk tank, we talked about having some signage out for some models and stuff. Should I?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
So if you want to, and I think I still have the grant application in the.
Yeah, they're in the Dropbox.
To pull from.
Okay.
So that's what I was planning on doing.
Okay, if you need anything from me, let me know. And then, yeah, working more heavily on the parade now. I don't know why I signed up for this, so, but it's gonna be great because Cherry Days parade is not till the 8th for some strange reason. So I think we're pulling some in from people who usually do theirs. So it'll be fantastic.
Awesome.
And
Taking up a bit of your time.
well, yeah, I realized it's in like 3 weeks. And I panicked. I was like, there's Grand Marshal stuff. Am I supposed to find a Grand Marshal? Panicked for a minute.
We've got one.
We have one. So, and then, I mean, me and my husband and sons went and rode the pump track this week. And so that's pretty fun. And that's really all I have to report.
Okay. Thank you, Janelle. Okay, I've got a few things to report on. So I did go to WACOG in between, since our last meeting. We had a presentation in the Housing Subcommittee meeting from Wayne Niederhauser. I find that an interesting name for somebody who happens to be the state homeless coordinator. It's not that funny, but it's interesting. Niederhauser is the homeless. Anyway, he had a great presentation, and basically the message he wanted to get out to all of us is that all cities of all sizes have homelessness. They may not be camped out in one place or another, but some folks are homeless and where they camp are on people's couches and in their basements and those kinds of things. So there is homeless everywhere. And a statistic is 1/3 of homeless have mental needs. And so those folks need services as well as homes. So that's some of the challenges that the homeless coordinator has. And so there was a pretty good presentation on that. Makes you think. Because if you've ever been to a very large city like San Francisco, you see it firsthand what homelessness and mental health and things can look like on a corner. Then we had a presentation from North Ogden on their moderate income housing. They had a presentation on that. Scott Hess from up there, he's one of their planners. So all of the cities are getting an opportunity to basically do a presentation on the strategies that they're doing for the moderate income housing that we all get to participate in. And I'm going to get my opportunity one of these times to present on our strategies. But in North Ogden, he mostly presented on the projects that they're working on. You folks are probably familiar with the apartments and the projects near the lodge at 1700 North. Maybe not. Anyway, there's a lot of them going in, not going in as fast as some of them would like to because of the need. It depends on whose need you go by. But basically, they are not building another building until the other ones are all sold and full. So that kind of slows things down. That was their presentation on that. I found that quite interesting. And
Constraint that the city put on the developers? The like not building
No.
another, or was just
Yeah.
something they're doing?
yeah,
Oh.
interesting, huh?
Mhm.
Yes. So that was the housing subcommittee. Then in the regular WACOG meeting, we discussed those things again, but then we moved on to discussing the fifth. I think I've brought this up before, the fifth. That's the 2 cents of every $10 of a purchase. It's basically another one of those, what's the right word for those? Yes, it's a local option tax. So 2 cents on every $10 would go into this fifth. So one of those very small decimal point things. This is, and Weber County is considering implementing this. If Weber County implements this, Far West City can participate in it. Basically, we would be getting funds for transportation. In the past, this fifth that has been in place before, but all of the funds went straight to UTA. Well, in their new proposal, because it expired in its old form, the monies that would come towards Far West City we could put it towards any transportation. So that's any of our roads, any of our sidewalks, any of our pathways. So.
I've heard about, I saw a presentation about it, and I have a really hard time understanding, and maybe Cody could help us understand it a little more, because it seems like there's also like another new one that you can opt into that's like the fifth, fourth or something. And it's you can opt into it as a city outside of the county.
I haven't heard of that one at all.
And it can be either transit or transportation.
Mm-hmm.
But
that sounds like this one, but
so
I've not. Okay, their estimate for our city based on CY 22 would be approximately $86,000 of the total 12 million. So it is what it is.
Is if like your county doesn't adopt it, then they've given, historically, the legislature's given cities the option if they're big enough. So I think if the county adopted this, then that's what it would be, not the other.
okay.
I don't think we're big enough that we'd go that other.
I don't think so. I think we'd go this way, and it would end up being a lot like our local option sales tax that we're getting right now. And so it would kind of do like what we're talking about with the TUF. It would just give us like another 70, 80,000 a year for roads.
And then the
transportation.
The county would administer it to the
The
city.
state tax commission does it.
Okay.
So the county just has to be the one to implement it. And then like everybody under their umbrella gets it. So.
Weber County's considering the implementation, but they are kind of also kind of like what they did with the FFA. They're kind of querying to ensure that all the cities are buying into it before they make their motion.
I think they don't want a bunch of bad press if they implement this new tax is.
Sure,
what
it's,
I've heard, so.
yeah, well,
But it was my understanding that it was outside of truth and taxation. They can just approve it.
Yes.
It doesn't have to go through.
I believe so, because the state legislature set it up, so they just have to approve it and away it goes. So. And it goes to, maybe the mayor's already shared this, it goes to a couple different entities, so we get like a portion of it,
Yeah.
and then some of it goes to UTA for the first few years, and then it's
Yeah.
and some of it goes to the county, so it kind of benefits a large pool rather
yeah,
than just
this
UTA.
is already contained within sales tax, so it's not really raising taxes on anybody. It's just
Like a
they're determining
reallocation.
where it's distributed to. So that just gives us, 2 cents on $10.
And not that that's a ton of money, but with the cost of everything going up, like it all helps.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one more possible source of revenue. So anyway, they talked about the fifth. They also talked about an amendment to the request of West Haven. I think I talked about this before. West Haven decided they needed more money for one of their road projects, and it needed to be approved. And that was approved. And then on those road projects, as we've done before, we actually submitted 5 projects from Far West City, but the WACOG funded projects for roads and whatnot in the transportation realm now require a 10% local match. Historically, we do, and we have, and most cities have, and it was mostly just you got extra points for match, but now they're like, no, you're gonna still get extra points for match, but now I'm gonna say you're gonna need more than 10% to get an extra credit. But they wanted to make sure, as with all funds coming towards cities, they want to make sure the cities have skin in the game and that they're participating. As was mentioned, our pump track out here is, I'm going to call it 80% there. We're still working on it. People are riding it and seem to be enjoying it. I actually looked out the window and saw some young man. He was really enjoying it because he was riding. It's designed that you get up onto the top part and ride down. Well, he was riding up and down and pedaling in both directions. So he's really into pumping on the pump track. So that's good. Another thing that is exciting, I think it's exciting. Remember how we, years ago, we purchased a piece of property over here from the Adams family. And sorry, it just came out of that. So for a fire road emergency access to Far West Drive, as we've been wanting forever. Well, that is complete, and we drove a fire truck up it and it works. So we have that emergency access now. We have a cable gate right now. We're gonna put in a regular gate at a future point, but right now, that's what we have. So it could be said that we have 1.5 accesses to Far West Drive. Not just past Lou's house, but they can also get in from down here when Lou blocks the road with his van.
Hey, I turned a horse trailer around at the end of Far West Drive just the other day, so,
On purpose?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's doable.
Did you know that it ended?
Yeah, but I didn't realize how tight it was.
Okay.
But I did it.
Okay, so it's possible. So anyway, we have emergency access. On Freedom Festival, we're starting to do a lot of social blasting of all of our events. To make sure everybody is aware of all of those. We have several events going on. What do we have? We have a softball tournament. We have the golf tournament. And we can go down through all the list, but we have a lot of them. We want to get a lot of people out to it. On the parade, so Boyd and I won't be riding on the trailer, if that's okay, because Boyd doesn't want to crawl up on the trailer. So I have volunteered my golf cart, and me and Boyd are going to ride right behind you guys in the golf cart.
I want to explain, want to explain, it's not that I don't want to, it's that I cannot, I'm still, I can't put weight on my leg, so.
Crawling
It's
up on the
more-
back of a semi flatbed might not be.
More of it not out of necessity, so.
Yeah.
I'm still non-weight bearing for 4 more weeks, so.
So I hope that's all right with you guys. But we're still participating. We're gonna enjoy it. And we found out today that the veterans are gonna raise the flag 4th of July morning. And we have somebody to sing. So Katie has, but now we have a flag to raise for them to sing to. Because we were gonna use the scouts, but we know what happened with the scouts. Unless, of course, the hockey team wants to raise the flag.
The veterans will do
Okay.
a wonderful job.
They actually called and volunteered, so how's that for, they love doing this stuff. And that is all I have to report on.
For the parade, can I put a plug in? I still need lots of volunteers. So we may have to send that out a couple more times.
Yeah,
Sign up sheet.
we'll continue the blasts.
Mayor? What type of volunteers?
Like I need some people to like go behind the horses and scoop up. They actually get paid for that. So if anyone wants to make an easy $25, I need a couple people with 4-wheelers to pass out the flags before the parade. I've got the other stuff and a couple other people to like help in the parking lot and stuff. So anyway, I have a Google Sheets, but I don't know if I did or I had Lindsay and Mackenzie test it for me, but no one saved changes. So I'm like, has no one signed up or did I do it wrong? So I'm gonna have my husband
Still a
test
work
it.
in progress.
No, it should be live. I just want to make sure they can save it.
Okay, so far so good, just except for what's actually being,
Right, except for the no names on it. Yeah.
That's the problem.
okay. So I have one last thing on the agenda.
Mayor, can I indulge you for a moment and report on the pond?
Oh,
Yes.
please.
Yes,
I
I'm
put-
sorry, I should have put it in my.
No, you're fine. I put some pictures out in Dropbox. If you guys can, somebody can go to it really quickly. We got, it's in Far West City under FWC. And then the grants, the UR grants, it should be over there somewhere. And then that, and then go to the Goliath photos right there. One more up. I put some photos there so you can take a look at what's going on over there. Just scroll across to the actual action.
I like the paddle boards.
Yeah, they had a lot of employees volunteer for this job just so they could play in the water. But the coolest thing is how they're getting the pylons out there. Is they're building ramps. That's right there. They're
Building ramps on top of the pylons that
on
they've
the top of the pylons, yeah. And that's how they're getting them in. They're gonna be, they have shop days on Fridays, so they're not gonna be there tomorrow. But on Monday, they should be able to finish it off. They've run into some technical problems of trying to get everything done. But it's pretty cool how they're doing this project. And so hopefully they'll be able to wrap it up on Monday.
And the dock will sit on top of them.
Yeah, the dock will, yeah, they've got brackets where those, how do you say it? Where the piers are at, yeah, they've got the brackets there, and where the equipment's sitting on, those are gonna have I-beams on there. And they've got laser leveling, and they're just gonna go straight out from there. And I got videos out there how they do it. Some of those, they're going in 35 feet, even further, just to get it secured. So anyway, I just wanted to give an update on that.
Thank you. And that's exciting. And I guess one thing they're doing, they must trust their work because they're driving out onto it.
Yeah, those machines weigh over 6,000 pounds, and we're putting on, I mean, the wings alone only weighs, just the frame only weighs 1,500, and the main 50-foot section is only 3,000. So if it'll hold those,
If
it'll hold
hold
anything.
those, it'll hold Fisher people.
Yeah, or me in a wheelchair out there, an old fat one-legged guy.
Thank you, Lyle. I appreciate
bet.
that. Yes, I need to get out there and look at it. I just haven't had an opportunity yet.
You go out there on Monday.
Okay, that'll be a perfect day to do it too. Okay, now I have one last agenda item.
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, Katie and Dave are motion second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Adjourned. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Boyd.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good night.
You too.